Back again with another Bond review, and today we're going to talk about License to Kill. Entertaining Bond movie. And in a nutshell, it's a revenge movie. You have the Felix Leiter character. He is taken by our main villain here, this drug baron Sanchez, played by Robert Davi. Robert Davi's seen before in The Goonies and Die Hard. Like I said, he's our villain here. And he takes Felix Leiter, and he's left for dead. So Bond wants to take revenge on what happened to his friend. MI6 is like, okay, we have an assignment for you. This is not priority. Come back. But Bond is set on taking revenge by, going after Sanchez. And that's kind of the plot here. So again, it's a straightforward revenge plot, which I really liked. Timothy Dalton, he's still great here. And like I said, it's a shame he only did 2 movies because I really liked, his portrayal of Bond. I mentioned in my review of The Living Daylights, he brings a hard edge to the character, but it's a good balance as well, between the hard edge, intensity, but he still has that charm of James Bond. And, from what I understand, again, even though I haven't read the novels, I know a lot of people say that his Bond is more akin to the novels. But again, Timothy Dalton's still great here. You have our supporting actress in the movie, and now the sun's coming out. This character, Pam, played by Carrie Lowell, and she's an ex-Army pilot. But she was good here. She was good support. She held her own in the movie. And I liked her character. I thought the actress did fine. Again, you have the main villain here, Sanchez, played by Robert Davi. This guy, again, you've seen in The Goonies. He was one of the agents in Die Hard. He would go on to be in Predator 2. Great actor, great villain actor. He's done a lot of movies. But like I said, he's this powerful drug lord in Latin America. And he played a great villain here. Robert Davi definitely has a presence to any character. I mean, whether good, bad, what have you. I mean, he's played a variety of different roles throughout the years. But Robert Davi's great here. Now, his girlfriend in the movie is played by Talisa Soto. And I'm like, okay, she's familiar. Yeah, she was in Mortal Kombat. But not just her. You have Kara Tagawa here in a small part. So I'm like, okay, that's interesting. You got 2 people in here that would go on to be in Mortal Kombat. But it was cool to see, Talisa Soto here as the girlfriend of Sanchez. And she has feelings for Bond. She's in the film for a little bit, but not too much. But again, it was cool to see her. You have this other henchman played by Anthony Zerbay, this character Milton Crest, who works on this marine research yacht called the Wavecrest. And he's kind of like, the villain's right-hand man, where he's doing the dirty work, so to speak. And this guy I've seen before, but I can't place him, Anthony Zerbay. Maybe I should have looked up what other movies he's done, but again, he was a good supporting villain. But not just him, you also have Everett McGill. Yeah, Everett McGill from The People Under the Stairs, Silver Bullet. He plays a double agent in this movie who works for the DEA. And then, of course, I'm like, okay, Everett McGill's not going to be a good guy. And I'm like, Everett McGill's known for bad guy roles. I mean, you look at Silver Bullet, you look at The People on the Stairs, which he would do later. I believe, I think he was in Under Siege 2. Yeah, he was in Under Siege 2. And I'm like, okay, I don't think he's a good guy. His turn is coming. But he was in the film in the beginning of, like, in the first act. His character gets killed, but it was still cool to see Everett McGill as a supporting villain. Frank McRae, Yeah, Frank McRae is in this movie as his character Sharky, who was a friend of Felix Leiter. And it was cool to see Frank McRae in there, from Last Action Hero. But great actor. But I mean, really good cast. You also would have Q back here. He has a little bit to do in the third act where he's helping Bond. So yeah, I mean, great cast. Again, Timothy Dalton does a great job. Carrie Lowell, she was good support. Robert Davi, great villain. Talisa Soto, cool to see her for a little bit here. Maybe you could say she doesn't have a whole lot to do, but still cool. Ever McGill, Benicio del Toro, almost forgot about him. Yeah, Benicio del Toro, a young Benicio del Toro, is another supporting henchman in this movie, and he has quite a bit. He has quite a bit to do in this movie because, he's kind of right there with Robert Davi, and in the end, where he tries to kill Bond, and he's thrown into this, like, I don't know what you call it, like some kind of grinder, but yeah, Benicio del Toro, he's probably in his early 20s here, but yeah, he is a villain, which is interesting. So yeah, that was pretty cool to see Benicio del Toro in there. So I mean, good villains here. Again, good support from Frank McRae. I wish that character would have lived longer, but still cool. And the locations were nice here, and some good action. I mean, as far as notable action scenes, you would have, the beginning was fun, where they take the main villain, where he's in this airplane, and they hook his airplane, and it's hard for me to describe the scene, but I mean, you can find it on YouTube. That was fun stuff. Where they capture Sanchez, and they're trying to get back to the wedding of Felix Leiter. And I believe the actor that played Felix Leiter was that character in Live and Let Die. Same actor, I believe. But yeah, so it's a fun opening because they capture Sanchez and they parachute into the wedding. Fun stuff. And later on you would have a bar fight. Just to mention some scenes here, you would have a couple of scenes at this warehouse where Bond is trying to infiltrate this warehouse. A little bit of gunplay. You have a scene later where Bond boards the Wave Crest. You get a little bit of action there. Some plane action. And then the third act where Bond is in the drug baron's factory, and you got some gunplay and gunfire, and you get a little bit of a scene where Benicio del Toro is trying to kill Bond, and a sort of grinder, and del Toro is shot. He's thrown in, and some good explosions mixed in, and then you get the finale where you get the truck chase, where Bond is trying to get Sanchez, and there comes to a point where they're hanging off the back, and it comes to a final confrontation where Bond, he's injured, he's beat up from, the truck going downhill, flipping over, and, Sanchez is getting ready to kill Bond, but, Sanchez is covered in oil, so Bond lights him on fire. So it's a great comeuppance for our main villain here. Bond setting him on fire. It was a cool shot. And again, real fire. Like the sun coming out. It's a real fire. It's a big fireball in the sky. But yeah, great comeuppance. So, I mean, there's quite a bit of action here. And again, it's a revenge picture. So I liked that element in the movie. It really worked well throughout the movie that it was a revenge, story. That it wasn't the typical Bond, Bond assignment, if you will. And like I said, Dalton, he was a great Bond, and I wish that he would have done more. because, again, he brought that really good balance of, that hard edge, intensity, but he still was able to have that charm. And yeah, so, like I mentioned before, he was Daniel Craig before Daniel Craig. Where a lot of people prefer the more, serious Bond, because they, Daniel Craig, I understand he's the new Bond, but if you look back, Timothy Dalton did that first. But he gets left out of the conversation because they only did two. And maybe to an extent George Lazenby, because he only did one movie. But it seems like, Dalton is not talked about as much. And I don't know why. I mean, he's a great actor, and I mean, like I said before, I grew up more with, Pierce Brosnan, but I wish that we could have seen more from Timothy Dalton. And I don't know what this film did in the box office, but, overall, when I look at this movie, it's an entertaining Bond movie. It's a entertaining revenge picture, and definitely will be up there in my top 10. As far as the placement, we'll see. I have to still figure that out. Because a lot of these Bond movies have been really good. I mean, some that I like more than others, but for the most part, it's been a lot of fun going, watching these, because a lot of them have been good. But yeah, so at the end of the day, License to Kill, great Bond movie, great action movie. And yeah, so that's pretty much it for now. Thank you for watching, and stay tuned for my review of GoldenEye. So yeah, my favorite Bond movie. So GoldenEye will be up next. Thank you for watching, and have a good day.